Hi there. Today I was going to make an addendum to the tutorial that I did on absolute basics. So even though chronologically this is coming out later, much later, consider this to be an addendum to tutorial number 2, absolute basics. Although I guess some people have corrected me. Let's call it basics and not absolute basics. That would probably be a better word. There was a little bit of a debate whether or not showing an airfield and how to create it was considered an absolute basic, and they weren't wrong. I just wanted people to know how to do it, because there aren't always going to be airfields where you want them to be. You might want to modify an airfield to allow for different fighter jets or bombers even, which would require you to put it in another runway or just make the base all over again. Although, yes, there are preloaded bases. Single unit airfields, they can't be attacked, so sometimes you'll see a single unit airfield and you'll want to make a mission around it, but good luck attacking that and having anything modeled properly other than a nuke completely destroying it. Anyway, another good question, which I'm here to fix now, is I did not talk about ports. Now, there was a reason I didn't talk about ports, but I'm here to put them in now and make it so that anyone can see how to do it, because I think it is something that people should know. Now, the reason I never mess with ports then, and I still really don't now, is because ships have enough fuel that I really never had to worry about fuel for the duration of their missions. By that I mean there's no reason for them to really return to port if they're damaged. Them returning to port is what would happen in real life, yes, and when they're done with their mission, then they'd return to real life, but, you know, it didn't seem to me like it would serve much of a purpose if you could just put your ships in the place you deploy them at. Now, I think I've probably done some sort of a naval strike mission where I've put ships in a port just to be attacked. All right, so I'm going to make an example here, and we are right over Guam. So we're going to go to US in the scenario, and we are going to load the Guam naval base. And here we go. So this is Guam, and we could go to the editor and say put in a carrier strike group or whatever we want to put in. So we would go to Unit Actions, and we would go to Edit Docked Boats, which is Control F7. And from here, we could put in the boats or even the submarines that we wanted to put in. So we're going to put the USS Nimitz in Guam. And we're going to put in 4 Berks to defend it. And we're going to put in 2 submarines. Now, of course, you can select any of these units that you would like. So if we go to boats here, we could select these units here and launch them as a group, which we will do in a second, or we could launch individually. But one difference between the destroyers and the carrier, or any of the ships, I mean, is unlike aircraft, we can't really rearm them. We can set doctrine, we can do a bunch of other things, we can launch them, we can abort the launch, but we can't just rearm them with missiles that are in here. So if we put missiles in these bunkers, I don't believe that we can just choose to rearm the boats there. If anyone wants to test it out and prove me wrong, they can, but I don't think that it could be done. If I remember correctly, it can't. Anyway, so we're going to select the carrier, and we're going to control select our Berks. We're going to right click, and we're going to launch as a group. Now, one thing to keep in mind is I'm not sure if these ships can actually be edited to have their flight wings, which might be a problem. So their deployment is underway, so we've grouped them up. So I'm going to just speed this up now, just so we get this group forming. All right, so here's this group. It is leaving the harbor, and let's look at it. It is 5 ships. So if we hit 9, we can see the actual formation, and we can go to the formation editor. So let's do that now. If I remember correctly, it's F4. Yes, it is. All right. So now we are going to, all right, it's already decided that the CVN68 is lead. So what I'm going to set is everything on a relative bearing to lead. So we're going to put one here. Going to put one here. And here. And here. All right. So now I'm going to set a course. Now I'm going to set a speed. I'm going to do creep. Actually, I'm going to do cruise for now, just to clear this whole area out. And we'll watch our ships spread out, get in formation, and escort their flagship. All right. So then the question becomes, what is needed to make a naval base? So we're going to delete all this, and we're going to make our own. Now, one example I wanted to use was, which I had a scenario in mind, it fell through. I never really did it, but somewhere around here, I think it's here, this is Hainan Island in China. There is a Yulin naval base, which was a submarine cave that I saw a low-res image from on Google. I haven't been able to find much information about it, or actually find it on Google Earth, but I wanted to put this naval base in and have it be the focus of a strike campaign done by a carrier strike group against this submarine base that had, I believe, the capacity to store maybe as many as 20 submarines, which is pretty impressive. So we're going to make a naval base. So the first thing we're going to need is a dock. We're going to do a naval dock. So this here is our dock. We can move it to any part of land, but we can't just we shouldn't be able to just move it here. Oh well. Anyway, we're going to put it on land. I don't think it would let us create one there. Oops, naval dock. Correct. So that seems like a bug. Anyway, bugs happen. So we're just going to throw down some docks, which we can do. And I mean, now for cosmetic purposes, we can put in some buildings, like a barracks or a TV station or anything else, but really I don't think they're going to be useful. So let's put in a let's put in a ammo bunker. Underground works for this example, and let's say fuel. A gigantic tank of gas. And another, or diesel to be technical. And then we could just hit R and rename it sub base. Now this is a small base, where the Yulin Naval Base is probably massive, but I don't have time to do a 20 building base here, and you probably get really bored. So I won't take any more of your time on that. Now, of course, if we go to edit docked boats, so we can go to China, and we're going to put Liaon. There we go. Liaoning. We're just going to put 4 of them there to see if we can. Submarine, we're going to take their type 009. Yeah, 009. And we're just going to put 41 of them. Oh, and we see we have a maximum amount of space. Now, I don't know what the maximum amount of space is or how to quantify it, but I do know that each of these docks can only hold so much, which is why I saturated them as much as I did. Either way, this should show you how to make a sub base. However, I would do it differently if I were to make a scenario where ships were able to defend themselves, because these ships, A, can't defend themselves, and B, if the dock is destroyed, the ship would be destroyed. So, you know, like a very small munition probably would maybe mission kill a carrier, but would not sink it. The carrier will just be gone if, let's just say, something falls on it from the dock. It's probably smarter to do it something like this. Dock. That's a dry dock, naval dock, I think would make more sense. So we're going to put a dock here and a dock here, and then we're just going to put a ship. We can't place a ship over land. All right, we'll try placing it here. There we go. And we will place another ship here. The only thing is, if these ships are attacked, they will probably start moving. But at least then they can defend themselves. Another thing, of course, you could probably try doing is just taking a building and putting in magazines and adding a bunch of others. I've just never wanted to really deal with that. I mean, I guess you could. I wouldn't do it that way. Let's try it like building. Large building. Add a magazine. Can I find a VLS cell maybe? Or would that be a weapon mount? So yeah, you could select all of these. Probably want to click all of them. I'm not going to click them all, but you could. And you could actually add or edit the weapons that this has. So you essentially could then add sensors and add the actual ship as a modeled building. That way it can't move, and the only thing you'd need to keep in mind is the durability of the structure compared to the durability of the ship. But if you're making a scenario, that's maybe one way you could go about doing it. I would probably just say that ships in the dock would be the way to go, and just have it that they're not crewed, and that your goal is to destroy ships in dock that are protected by other forces. Hopefully this was helpful in how to make a dock, and hopefully I can get around to more command content soon. So I will catch you guys later.